Okay, so there's the pork fat. So this pork humba recipe is actually made with pig trotters, and it looks an awful lot like adobo with just a few ingredients added to it. I was Googling this recipe and I found out that this is a very popular dish across the southern regions of the Philippines, and it's considered a delicacy. Must be all those good hunks of pork and pork fat you get to eat. So this dish is also very similar to those Chinese braised pig trotters. So if you've ever seen those, this pork humba recipe is very similar. Anyway, let's get this recipe started because it does take a while for us to simmer the pork to make sure it is very tender to eat. To activate recipe, please click subscribe button to get updated with weekly recipes. Alright guys, so we're gonna start off by getting a big pan. I called my dad for some tips on this recipe and he says ideally you'd want to use a wok. So this is the closest thing that I have to a wok, but if you'd like, since this does take some time to get the pig trotters soft, you can also use a slow cooker or a pressure cooker. I'm just gonna show you guys how to do it here on a normal pan in case you don't have either of those at home. All right, so just turn on your flame. First, I'm gonna keep it on low heat so that we can saute our aromatics so that I don't burn it. So first thing you're gonna do is add a little bit of oil. I'm putting just about a teaspoon of avocado oil in here. You can use any oil you have, but ideally one that can withstand high heat. Have 1 tablespoon of garlic, or I had about 3 cloves in here. Okay, and then I'm gonna add 10 peppercorns. Yes, this asks for a ton of peppercorns. Okay, put it in here. When other people make adobo, they put in the peppercorns later, but I like to saute it in the beginning so that you can kind of let out some of its peppery flavor. Okay, and then 1 bay leaf. I'm gonna, a perfect bay leaf. I'm gonna use it for you guys. It's not broken, hallelujah. So the bay leaf is the other thing that people normally put in like right before they're about to simmer the meat, but I do like to add it in the beginning just so it can let out some of its bay leafness. Okay, so now you're gonna wanna get pig trotters. What I have is 2 pounds of pig trotters and it's been pre-sliced. This is what it looks like. I got this from Seafood City. It's rare that I find these at like my local American grocery store, so I love going to Seafood City, especially since this is a Filipino recipe. They're bound to have the meats that I need. All right, so just put the pork trotters in here. Try to get each pork trotter touching the pan. Ooh, you see it shrinking? They're starting to shrink a little bit. All right, so now I'm just gonna saute the pork until it's brown on all sides. Just make sure you're constantly mixing so that it doesn't burn. Ah! Ah! Careful, the fat is splattering. Ooh, I love this pan. My dad actually got me this pan and I'm just using it today. Now I'm gonna put it on low heat. And now I'm gonna add, actually I'm gonna start with 1/2 cup of vinegar and I'll see if I'll need more. So I'm using apple cider vinegar. I love this vinegar. I feel like it's got a great amount of flavor. Try not to use white distilled vinegar. It's kind of boring and flavorless. I go to Seafood City and there's a huge array of different vinegars, from like cane sugar vinegar to coconut vinegar. Just try not to use the distilled white vinegar. But if that's the only thing you have, it's not the end of the world. Do I need more? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna add more. So I'm actually gonna add a cup of vinegar. Ooh, it's quiet now. It's like the ending of Titanic. Everyone gets quiet after they're put in the water. Okay, and then afterwards, I'm gonna follow it up with 1/2 cup of soy sauce. All right, I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room here. A lot of people are usually complaining to me like, oh my gosh, that's so much vinegar. Don't worry. When you cook down vinegar, especially in a stew like this, it's actually not going to be sour at the end of the cooking process. The vinegar will be like a brighter addition to your dish and it'll be more sweet. I actually like having more vinegar compared to soy sauce because I personally think a lot of the flavor comes from the vinegar. I will add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in here. Make sure when you're using brown sugar in recipes that you're packing it in when you're measuring it out. This is the one ingredient that's added to humba that I've seen not be added to a traditional adobo recipe. Are you guys ready to see what it is? Fermented black beans. I'll also put a link in the description below if I find it online so you guys can grab your own. I love fermented black beans. These guys pack a huge flavor punch. I normally like to use fish sauce or bagoong, which is shrimp paste, to create that extra umami flavor in my dishes, but fermented black beans also do a great job. And I typically use this for my vegan friends. These things are really good for a quick stir fry. But alas, some of you will not be able to find fermented black beans. And if that is the case, then you can go ahead and use shrimp paste, fish sauce, or you can just add extra salt. So in this recipe, I'm gonna add probably 4 tablespoons of these fermented black beans since I've got a bunch of pork trotters. 3, 4. Okay, and then just mix this all up so that the black beans, the vinegar, and the soy sauce all integrate together. Oh my gosh, so I almost forgot. The other ingredient that's typically added to pork humba is banana blossoms, or in Tagalog we call it puso ng saging, which means like the heart of the banana. This is what it looks like. Let me grab it. Ta-da! So this is the fresh version, and I also got this from Seafood City. And then I looked up online after I got it how to prepare it. It's not as easy as just cutting it up and putting it in your stew. There's actually all these steps that you need to go through to like remove the sap and things like that. So I was like, yeah, never mind. So ideally what other people have used are dried banana blossoms, but unfortunately I forgot to grab it. So I was thinking, oh, what can I use instead? So I went on Google, and some people said you could use papaya or artichoke as an alternative. I don't have papaya and I don't have artichoke, but weirdly enough, what I do have at home is green jackfruit. And I've actually had banana blossoms before in other Filipino dishes, and the texture was kind of similar to this. So I was like, hey, I'll just chop this up and throw this in here. But of course, I'm guessing you guys don't just have green jackfruit, banana blossoms, artichokes lying around. So if you don't, it's fine. You can omit it from this recipe. It's still gonna be really good because the highlight of this pork humba recipe is the pork. So this is canned green jackfruit, and I just sliced it up. This is what it looks like. And so I chopped up about 1.5 cups of this green jackfruit. It's already kind of soft. I want to throw it in here while the pork is simmering so that it can absorb the sauces that I put in here. All right, there you go. And just mix the green jackfruit into the sauce. All right, so the only thing left to do is I'm gonna put a lid on it. And then I'm gonna simmer this for about an hour. I'll check periodically to make sure there's still liquid in it. If it looks like the liquid level is starting to get a little bit low, you can go ahead and add a little bit of water at a time. Okay, so I'll see you guys again in about an hour. Let's go see what it looks like. Wow. It smells super flavorful, and as you can see, the sauce has reduced down by a lot. Let's take this fork and check the tenderness of the pork. Okay, let's see. Oh, it feels soft. So let's poke it. Okay, very tender. Look at that. It easily comes off. This is beautiful. And then here are the jackfruit pieces. They're just kind of hanging out in there. Okay guys, and the only thing left to do is to plate this and then try it. Wow, okay, let's try it. I'm really interested to see what this jackfruit tastes like, as well as what the black beans did to this humba. So I didn't have normal rice, and this Humba recipe would taste really good with rice, but I did make this Spam kimchi fried rice. So if you guys want to see what this recipe looks like, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let me try the jackfruit first. Yeah. Tastes like it soaked up whatever vinegar, soy sauce, and black bean sauce we put it in. It's just kind of like a soft, chewy thing. It's kind of just like extra filler, in my opinion. If your pork runs out, at least you got some green jackfruit to fill it in. And I'm guessing the banana blossoms are kind of doing the same thing. But I wouldn't know. I still have to try it with banana blossoms. So if I ever snag a bag of dried banana blossoms, maybe I'll try this again. All right, now let's try the meat. And I want a piece with like the pork fat on it. Okay, so there's the pork fat. I want to try a little bit of just the normal pork. Oops. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. So if you guys like adobo, I mean, this dish basically tastes like adobo. In my opinion, I can't really taste the difference between not having the fermented black beans and having it. So I feel like if you omit the black beans, it would still taste really good. And I love that we simmered it because now the skin part of the pork is like silky and easy to chew, and it just has a good mouth feel. You know how people like to say mouth feel? Anyway, I'm a huge fan. It's really good. I would definitely pair this with rice though, because it's got some bold flavors in there. And with any stew, this pork humba dish will taste a lot better the next day, since it'll give time for the sauce to seep into the pork and in the green jackfruit. I'm gonna save this, and tomorrow when we have it for lunch, it's gonna be like 5 times better. That's it, guys. So this recipe is actually very simple. You just have to wait like an hour or an hour and a half for it to simmer so that you get that very tender, fall off the bone meat. If you guys do make this recipe at home, let me know in the comments below and tell me how you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can get alerted of the 2 weekly videos that I make. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!